Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another episode of Humble Society. I'd like to start by thanking everyone for sharing and supporting our first episode. And also, I'd like to apologize for the misinformation about our Apple podcast, which wasn't live at the time, but now successfully, Alhamdulillah, it is up and running as of yesterday. In this episode, we will be speaking about um, fitness in Ramadan, your nutrition, and how you can train between the four walls of your house. And being locked up now during this isolation, we only limited to a certain amount of activities and sports that we can perform, which is running. And let's be honest, not many of us do enjoy running as well. So we do speak about alternative types of sports and different activities that we can do as friends and families as well. We speak about nutrition. We speak about bulking and shredding as well for those that are interested in how to do so during Ramadan. He does have 12 to 15 years in fitness and well-being, so very well experienced. And they do also have a online fitness program that they do. It's called Get the Kids Fit. Check out their Instagram page and support them. They do post live workouts, so it's very inspiring and motivating, especially during these times. You can also check out our Instagram page, Humble Society, where we post regular updates. You can check out our YouTube page as well, where we record our podcast sessions on there as well. And without further ado, I would like to welcome you guys to the second episode of Humble Society with Omar Saadi. Welcome to Humble Society Podcast. Check it out. By any means necessary. It should come up on your screen saying that it's recording.
Yep.
So yesterday actually was my first time recording with a sheikh from Adelaide. So originally I'm from Adelaide, South
Yep.
Australia, and then I moved to Sydney with a family friend because we finished uni, and Adelaide being a small city, we don't really have much going on there, like in terms of opportunities, in terms of work and stuff. So as soon as we finished uni, we thought we were like, let's move to another city, a bigger city. I was like
Nice.
Melbourne. The majority said Sydney, so now I'm stuck here in Sydney.
How you finding it? How you finding it here?
Well, alhamdulillah, it's good. It's very different. It's very different. It's very busy, and like everyone's just focused. Everyone's on a mission, basically.
Yeah, it's upon a lot, and that's what it feels like, especially when I travel interstate or around the world. You feel like we're people on a mission here in Sydney for whatever reason.
Yeah,
You're just on a mission, and it's just go go go. That's why a lot of people are struggling during this period now, because everyone's just been put on on a standstill, and everyone's not knowing how to cope with the whole reality of trying to slow it down and just take in the time that we're the position that we're put in.
yeah. Subhanallah, man. This when you say with this position that we put in, you mean like the current status of the world? Yeah,
Pandemic, yeah, I think
yeah.
yes.
Man, that
SubhanAllah.
really caught everyone by surprise. Subhanallah.
Yeah, SubhanAllah.
Yeah, nobody really expected any of this to happen. But Alhamdulillah, like we have it okay here. Like in comparison
A
to
hundred percent, 100%. Totally agree with you. It's like we're almost in a, when you hear the stories and you hear the news or you see what you see, and the certain restrictions that the globe has put themselves into, alhamdulillah, we're still able to go and do what we need to do, but with free reign. You know what I mean? It's not like you're being watched every single step of the way, or you're not allowed to leave your suburb. It's under restricted guidelines, but it's still you can still go to the park and exercise, for example. I
Yeah,
can still train people in the park, where around the world, everyone's just in full lockdown.
yeah. SubhanAllah, man. So just to clarify for the recording that this is our first time meeting. We haven't met before,
Yeah,
and
subhanAllah.
what happened was you might think of me of a stalker, but I was going through UMA, United Muslim Australia page,
Yep.
and there was because I was checking out their gym,
Hmm.
and I was really in love with the gym because I remember going with a friend once. We prayed there, and then they showed us around. They had like a big hall, and then they had like a full facility gym,
Yep.
beautiful. And I was looking it up, and I saw one of your videos that was linked to it, and and from there I went to your page, and we were looking for health specialists as well that we can interview for, that we can speak to over the show. And Alhamdulillah, you responded, and it was great. Um, but the whole concept of this show, it's a podcast slash like a show that we're going to be
Yep.
uploading to YouTube, but mainly a podcast. But we don't want to
Hmm.
seem it to be like an interview, me asking you questions, and it's just
Yeah.
like a normal conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Yep.
haven't planned much of questions. Maybe I should have, because this might be a fail, but I just wanted to take a natural course and just go with the flow, basically.
And that's the best way, I believe, moving forward. Because then it's like, even like when I did do the radio, it was as much as we we pre-prepared ourselves or whatever it was live, and we felt like the less that we prepared, the more flow we had and the more engagement we had with the people, because we were talking about real things and we were talking about the reality rather than what everyone else is talking about, and what everyone else preempts or what everyone puts together, because people want to hear the real of the real, or they want to hear answers, and a lot of the time when you're talking like this at a real casual sort of basis, a lot of time you get best of both worlds. Hmm.
And I've been noticing, even after shooting our first episode, that no matter how much questions we prepared, at the end of the day, the talk or the interview could take like a different turn, and you
100%.
just yeah, and you just end up adapting. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Throughout the conversation.
subhanallah.
So to speak about you, Omar. So your page, Oz Health, is that like a institute? Is that a business?
Hala, Oz Health is an abbreviation for Omar Saadi Health.
Yeah.
Um, so a bit about me, I've been in the health and fitness industry for about 15 years now. I've had my own facility, my own gym, and for 12 years of my career, I was based in the CBD. So I was really invested in the corporate world, and just training a lot of the corporates, high-end corporates, um, and professional athletes as well, until about 3 years ago, or just under maybe 2.5, 3 years ago. I just felt this sort of burning sensation that I felt like I wasn't doing enough within the community, but also the driver behind it was the fact that my daughter, my daughter was born, but then there wasn't as much opportunity for my daughter when it came to health and fitness sort of exercises or health and fitness sort of activities that were accessible to her, other
Okay.
than your local soccer, football, and your local sort of community, your local clubs, the games.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was gymnastics or it was swimming.
Yeah.
So part of the driver was for me to move back into the community and to create something for. I've got another business called Get the Kids Fit that I co-own with a brother as well,
Yeah.
and that is basically just a structured sort of fitness program. A fitness business that brings back structured play to the kids,
Yeah.
to the youth, and even young adults. But in that time, I thought, why not? Because for whatever reason, I never trained any of the guys in the community, or never trained anyone within the community, because I was always so caught up in the CBD.
Yeah.
And then the UMA opened up 3 years ago, and the
mashallah.
gym was open there, and they were asking for advice, and I was, boys were asking for advice and going, how can I do this, or how can I do that, and just one thing led to the other, and I was just like, you know what, I didn't want to do personal training in the community. I just wanted to do wellness consulting
Yeah,
and wellness coaching. But then, subhanallah, it just, when it's your drive, it's your passion, and it's something that's been given to you, you see it coming towards you. So that was like one of the main reasons why. The main reasons was to get out of CBD, was to create something for my daughter. But then, upon along the way, all the boys started to go, you know what, please, Emma, can we train with you? Can we train with you? And then one thing led to the other. So I created Get the Kids Fit with a brother, and
mashallah.
then now doing personal training in the community. And what OS does, it oversees both programs. OS is just a page where I put out there some of the stuff that I do with the adults, but also it's a platform for, like, my company platform for the kids as well.
Yeah. Oh, mashallah. When you say corporate world, what you used to do before this, was it like, were you training individuals like a one-on-one, or was it?
So individuals, but also corporate companies. So like your
Yeah,
Combanks or PwC or Meriton, or a lot of Maryvale. These organisations would build relationships with and contracts to
yeah,
train their staff, and I get my staff to go out and train their staff and create and also have contracts with corporate buildings to be able to run fitness programs in vacant sort of areas within their building,
yeah.
so that so people of that building had access to a yoga session or a high intensity interval training circuit or a functional training session. So that's what I was doing a lot beforehand. Now
Yeah.
I've just brought that concept into the community. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, mashallah, man.
Yeah.
That's really good. Like subhanallah, I know one of the things that we used to do, especially back at high school days and uni, before got caught up with the work life, and you know what I mean, and so forth. We used to constantly play soccer, play football, and there was like a lot of community sports that we used to play. And subhanallah, there would be a lot of people right now as well committed to these kind of sports. But unfortunately, due to these circumstances, they won't be able to participate in playing football or soccer because of the isolation, and you know what I mean, and having to stay at home. But the only kind of exercises, it seems to be just like running and just fitness on your own, having to generate like different ways where you can develop a fitness structure. But not a lot of people are used to that, because I myself, a lot of friends, a lot of boys that I know, that they go to the gym. It's either gym or it's either sports.
That's right. Yeah.
So how do you go about it yourself? Like I'm sure you do this also for personal benefit, not just for business. How do you like keep fit yourself during these times?
It's funny you say that. My whole life, I have always believed that functional training is the best form of training. And what functional training is just uh, building, creating sort of a strength and resistance in your muscles to be able to function on a day-to-day basis. So a lot of the time we don't do body weight sort of exercises because for whatever reason they're hard or they're repetitive. But what we've tried to do is over the years, I've tried to see how we can go outside that box and do functional training with minimal equipment. And how I've kept myself fit, subhanallah, is since the lockdown has started, we're doing live free sessions for Get the Kids Fit online on Facebook and Instagram 3 times a week for half an hour. We're actually doing sessions, and what we are doing, they're high intensity interval sessions, but we utilize, for example, toys. We utilize whatever resources we have at home, chairs, dumbbells, whatever, and we create these workouts So we can do it, but also people can follow us. A lot of kids, so kids can follow us, but parents have been getting involved. Alhamdulillah, it's been very successful. And for me, in this isolation sort of period, that's how I've been keeping myself fit. It's actually made me fitter than I was, subhanallah.
Yeah.
Because you have to train, but also you have to give instructions at the same time. So it's a lot harder to train and keep that level of intensity up whilst talking at the same time.
Yeah, having
So
to catch your breath.
I've been exposed to that now, so which is good. Alhamdulillah, it's amazing, and it's also given us the opportunity to utilize the parks. To utilize. Or you go to the parks now and you see a lot of families walking. Like me, I take my daughter and my wife and we go out in a scooter, rather than just walk with scooter. So we try and diversify, or we'll go for a walk just to keep it interactive. But to answer your question, how I've been keeping fit during this period, subhanAllah, has been doing these live workouts online 3 times a week. We thought we'd give back by doing that. But in the same way, we're, again, hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. So we give back so people have an option to follow a fitness, some sort of structure. But in the same time, we're getting fit in that time as well.
MashaAllah, that's such a good thing. Like having, developing your health through your work, and and to do what you enjoy yourself.
Alhamdulillah.
Speaking of scooter and riding bikes, subhanallah, just the other day we were driving down Parramatta Road. I think it was about just 2 days ago. And we drove past this large bike shop. I think it was a bike shop. I can't remember the name of it. And there was a long line that went all around the building and across to the car park. People just waiting to go in and buy bikes. SubhanAllah.
And bikes, because a lot of people can't run. For whatever reason, if it's injuries or if it's because they find it uncomfortable, because a lot of people dislike to run, and a bike is a good alternative. But also from a family sort of combined exercise thing, to do the bike is a lot easier than to go for a run. So you can feel like you're still you can go as a family on a bike. You can go as a run, but if you're running and your 4-year-old is behind you or your 3-year-old is behind you, you can't really run, where you can put your 3-year-old on the back of your bike and just take off.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to do that. So that's why you see a lot of people now getting into bikes, but scootering as well. I've always enjoyed scootering.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's not like it's easy on the joints, but it's also something that you can do with your child or with a sibling or with a friend. And it just brings back your childhood, subhanAllah. It brings back your childhood, but you also, you enjoy it,
100%. Like, really got me into scootering. I might actually go and get one now.
You won't look back. You won't look back.
Yeah, I want to. Like, I can't even remember the last time, I even jumped on a scooter. Because I remember, I used to live around my younger cousins, and they would be running with scooters and such, and I used to take it off them sometimes and just play with it. But
yeah,
during high school, uni, everybody just wants to be mature at a younger age.
That's right.
Which is unfortunate. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Unfortunate. It is unfortunate. Look, it is unfortunate, and that's why the purpose of this other business that we have, Get the Kids Fit, is to actually bring back structured play. We forgot the days, you see now, obviously because of the tech-savvy world, kids these days aren't as active as we were growing up. And it's a ripple effect. If kids aren't active, their teenagers, their older siblings aren't active. And a lot of the time, the parents are probably caught up with work or life as is. So it's a ripple effect, and that's part of our emphasis and part of our goal is to get kids to be able to get back that sort of structured play, with a seed being planted, so that it's a ripple effect amongst the family. When you start to see kids wanting to, if you're a father who's just And life is difficult, especially in Sydney. You see everyone's on a mission, on a run, like
Yeah.
on the go, non-stop. But if you see your child who really wants to get out and go to the park, they can ask you once, twice, three, four, 5 times. The sixth time, you're going to take them out, and then you're going to look at them and you go, you know what? They're going to want to kick a ball with you. And then that's leading to another thing, it's leading into the parent out going, you know what? I'm going outside, kicking the ball. It's releasing those endorphins. The father or the mother is starting to reminisce. Oh, I remember you used to doing this as a kid. I feel so good. That feeling is what we're trying to target, and that feeling we hope that becomes repetitive, or you really crave that feeling, and that's like just by keeping it fun, keeping it really simple. We tend to overcomplicate things, but that's why we've just tried to bring that back, so it becomes a ripple effect. Like then one after the other, this person's scootering, that person's scootering, this person's kicking a ball, this, you know what I mean? And becomes a whole family sort of thing.
Yeah. And subhanallah, like especially because of these current, unprecedented times, and due to the, virus, and which has a lot of relation to, your well-being and your health, it's very important to maintain, a stronger immune system. And
100%.
I think, for a lot of people that weren't working out before this, maybe it's a good idea to do so now. And maybe
100%.
there would be a lot of people out there that, that are trying to get back into fitness, if they were, or, or start to do so. But due to, the circumstances of not being able to go to a gym, or like a health fitness center, how can like someone use, how can someone do that within, the four walls of the house? Is there something you would recommend, like someone does certain activities inside the house, like within their room or so?
100%. You can follow us on I'll get the kids fit workouts.
Yeah.
It's made for a workout to be done within four walls, and that's it. But the best tool that you have, the best tool that we have, subhanAllah, has been given to us, and it's for free. The tool has been given to us for free. It's our body. You got four. You can do. You can start off by just challenging yourself by doing the basic movements. If it's a push up, if it's a squat, if it's a lot of the time, people will go, I'd rather bench press than push up because push ups are so much harder. What's the point of being able to push something if you can't? So it's about trying to overcome these sort of barriers now to be able to create a stronger person, a stronger body, stronger mindset for when the gyms do open up. You're not only haven't just sat there, but you've actually now you can do push-ups, you can do your squats, you can do plyometric squats, you can do your sit-ups, you can hold a plank for longer than you've ever held it before. You can do these little things that you never thought you could do. Now you can. Now, if you do these during this period, and I'm a big believer, it has to be realistic with your lifestyle. So I always, and my philosophy, and for everyone that knows me, knows that it has to work within your lifestyle. I never tell anyone to train every single day of their life. I tell someone to train in accordance to their life. So if someone says, okay, how often should I be training, Omar? That comes back to you. How often do you think you can commit to training? I'd rather see you train once a week for 6 months straight than train for 3 weeks every single day and then stop. You have to be consistent, and that's the key. The key is consistency with any sort of training. And if you are stuck in a household, like if you're stuck in between four walls and you want to do a workout, there's plenty of sites that we can go off, and Instagram pages where people show, strategic and real good sort of bodyweight workouts. But also you can start to now go, you know what, I'm going to do 10 push-ups and 10 sit-ups, and then 10 sit-ups, 10 push-ups, and then 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups, and then go into squats. And then you end up creating your own circuits. You start to create your own circuits, and before you know it, you don't even need to go anywhere. You just go, you know what, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You start to work out your body better than you better imagined. You could ever imagine. So it's just doing those little things, but on a consistent basis. And that's, I do believe, and I strongly believe, and I've said this and I'll say it again, that the problem and the issue isn't going to be now. The issue is going to be in 6 to 12 months' time, where the mental health and physical health of the people us in this period now, in this pandemic, is going to be far severe than what the pandemic has done to us now. Because a lot of people, like you just asked, would not know how to train within four walls, or would think that that's irrelevant to train if they can't lift weights, or if they can't run, why should I go for a walk? What's walking going to do for me? A lot of people do think like that, and people are genuinely scared, and don't want to go out for a walk with their family, or don't want their kids to be exposed. But the longer you don't do anything about your physical and mental well-being, the harder it becomes to get out of this situation that we're in.
SubhanAllah. Yeah, that's really yeah, it's really deep, man. Like if we don't focus on our health right now, then when would that be? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're
one of
absolutely right.
the best immune boosters is exercise.
Yeah. Yes. On that note, um, is it just exercise, or also should they also fix the eating habits? Because this is the other thing. Like now that we're stuck here, that and a lot of people are storming the shops, and you know what I mean, and cleaning up the junk food racks, and subhanallah, like we're not limited
We're
to how
not
many times we can go to the shops. You know what I mean? Not like other countries.
under countries. That's right.
So we can still go to the shops. We can still go to, you know what I mean, and buy our groceries and such. But every time I go, subhanallah, you see a lot of the health racks are still full.
Full.
Yeah.
Again, I'm a big believer. If you know, like a lot of people would know, when it comes to nutrition, a lot of the time we want to be. If we're not hard, again, it's the same thing as your training. When it comes to nutrition, if we're not hard on ourselves, we believe that we're not fulfilling a good nutritional sort of diet plan. I really, I'm so against that word diet, because diet is so short term. This is a perfect opportunity for us to understand how to create a lifestyle of positive or good eating habits. As hard as it is, a lot of the time people know good from bad, and we know, like, there's the junk, and then there's the we know that a packet of chips is far worse than an apple. It's just literally as black and white as that. And if we just in life, you're not just going to be eating apples. Like, we have to be real with ourselves. Yes, you are going to have chips. Yes, you are going to have chocolate. Yes, you are going to have your processed foods. Yes, you are going to have takeout. That's just life. Life is just like that. We have to find, in this time, especially during this pandemic, we have to find a balance. We have to find the right balance of eating good from bad and eating bad from good, and use the bad not so much as a treat, but you use it as, I don't like to use the word cheat as well, but you use it just as something to, it's a habit that you have that. It's a habit that you have a piece of chocolate. And I'm like that. I know that I love chocolate, but I'm not going to sit there and overindulge in chocolate, because I know if I overindulge and I overdo it, then it's not good for me. You know what I mean? But if I'm doing exercise, I'm moving as much as I need to move, and my nutritional habits are balanced. If I have a chocolate here and there, it's not an issue. But it's about now just making better, good choices than bad choices, and slowly working on that. And now, leading into Ramadan, is the perfect time for us to be able to fulfill those habits, especially now. Like, you got 4 days, 5 days, whenever Ramadan starts, it's you have that time to be able to not just cleanse your soul and your brain, but you also have the opportunity to cleanse your body as well.
Yes, it almost works like a detox, doesn't it?
It does, but we don't use it as a detox.
Yeah,
Subhanallah.
yeah.
We use it.
Unfortunately,
Is this your first Ramadan in Sydney?
no. Actually, this is gonna be my third.
Okay,
So
mashallah.
I've actually been here 3 years this month. SubhanAllah, time has been
Nice.
flying so fast. I still feel like I just came a few months ago.
Subhanallah.
Because life here is just going on way too fast. But
It
speaking
is.
of Ramadan, there's a lot of people that are either bulking, shredding, or
Mhm.
just in between, like they're just, you know, maintaining fitness in general. So how do these guys, you know, and I used to be one of those guys. Um,
I knew these questions would come up, so I've
yeah.
got all my notes written down for
Okay.
that. Subhanallah,
Brilliant.
because it's the most common asked question
Yeah.
during this time,
You know why?
leading into them.
Yeah, subhanallah. From my personal perspective, like when you're especially if you're bulking or you're shredding, you have a certain, you know, I don't like the word diet, but you have like a certain structure of the
Correct.
foods and the things that you want to eat or you need to eat
Yeah.
or you've been doing, you know, for a long period of time. So that now when Ramadan comes in, it feels like a lot, you know, I hate to say the word, but interrupts with your diet, interrupts with your structure. How can
Yes.
we use Ramadan to our own benefit and come out of it with, you know what I mean, with better health circumstances?
Okay. So, like, it's like now, right? So it's Ramadan is falling during this. Now gyms are all closed. So people going, I haven't trained in 3 weeks properly because I haven't had the chance to lift weights. And now Ramadan's going to come. Omar, I'm going to give up, and I'm deteriorating. All my muscle is gone. You know, that's it. It's gone. You know what I mean? But if you maximize what you do now, you can actually gain more benefit than you would if you just kept going. You know, so the first benefit is your body is now going through a bit of a refreshment, revitalizing, and all your niggly injuries and all your niggly sort of aches and pains. It's giving your body's been given the opportunity now to recover, first and foremost. Secondly, if you're trying to shred, now this is the perfect time for you to maximize your shredding during this time. You know what I mean? Because you see, it's intermittent fasting has a massive benefits, but now Ramadan is the king of all kings of benefits. You know what I mean? If you where the issue comes into play with Ramadan is when we start to overindulge after not eating for so long. That's more detrimental when you start to indulge in foods that you shouldn't be indulging in than you not being able to do a training session throughout the day or you training throughout the day. So it really works upon what works for you. The benefits of training prior to iftar, people go to me, but I'm low on energy. But okay, you're low on energy, but you can get that pump, you can get a session in, and then you straight away get to revitalize and refresh the muscles by getting your meal in just before iftar. And then people go to me, okay, but what about after iftar? The benefits of training after iftar. After iftar, you have to think about it. What time do you usually train during the day? You got to look at it now. Okay, your iftar is your breakfast. Do you train after breakfast? Do you train after lunch? When do you train? And these are the things that you have to look at for yourself. If you're trying to bulk, if you're trying to shred, I advise all people who are trying to bulk. You got to look at little things to the little things that you start to eat and the things that you start to drink, like your casein proteins. It's a slow sort of release where you maintain that level of fullness throughout the day. You can have that as support. But then if you want to shred, you can training throughout that period of using your fat as energy and trying to burn as much fat as you can whilst during that sort of fasted phase and you're going into ketosis. Then it's about now revitalizing, and what you fuel your body with is really important. You know what I mean? You're really important that you don't fuel your body with, as I said earlier, overindulging sort of stuff, but with the right foods. So you can maximize, what you've done with your body throughout that fasted period. Now, if you want to go into post iftar, what you can do is where it becomes detrimental for your post iftar is that you're not getting as much rest because your maghrib, by the time you eat, then you got isha, tarawih. By the time you settle down from tarawih, what time are you going to train? 10:30, 11 o'clock, then you go to sleep, you get up for suhoor, fajr, you know what I mean? You start to break that sleeping pattern. Your body needs sleep. Your body needs rest, especially if you're not eating all day. You know what I mean? If you're not getting any sort of consumption all day, and your body repairs itself whilst you're asleep, not whilst you're awake and doing working sort of things. So it really works. I always say to everyone during Ramadan, do not expect to gain massive results. If you're trying to bulk, don't expect to bulk. Don't set these expectations. Don't set these expectations that you're going to shred. Try and maximize training during this period if you can. And by maximizing is just being consistent. If you can stay consistent for 4 weeks throughout this period of Ramadan and really focus on your soul and your body when you get the chance, then what ends up happening is you come out of Ramadan, you don't only come out feeling better, but you come out a step ahead.
I mean, fasting here in Australia is not that difficult, to be honest.
It's not that difficult, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the easiest countries where we in the world where we fast only up to 12 hours, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And it gets lesser as well towards the end.
Yeah, it does.
So it's not that hard not to eat. You know, if anything, it would just be a matter of, you know what I mean, drinking or such. But you can still squeeze in a half an hour workout. So correct me if this is not a fact. I think it was based on someone's recommendation where they said you work out half an hour 5 times a week, and that's an ideal, like that's enough for you to, you know, maintain a healthy lifestyle.
To maintain a healthy lifestyle, it comes back to what I said earlier. It comes back to the individual. If a person leading into Ramadan only trains 3 times a week and wants to maintain a level of health in a level of activity, if he can maintain the 3, he can maintain the 3. But if he does 2, he's still maintaining a level of healthy habits. Someone who's training 5 times a week and wants to try and maintain that, he has to also understand that. I always say, don't set yourself up to fail. So do not set, like, especially now, we all know that towards the end of Ramadan, it starts to get a lot harder. You become a lot more lethargic, become a lot more tired, you know, you're preparing for the last 10 days of Ramadan, then the last 10 days come, you want to try and maximize the last 10 days, but then you don't want to stop training. It all becomes a bit too much. But at the start of Ramadan, you set yourself up to train 5 days a week. And towards the end of Ramadan, you're only doing 2 sessions a week. You start to feel like, oh, it's been a fail. But if you turn around and you said to yourself, you know what, I'm going to set myself up to be able to train 3 times a week for the next 4 weeks. 3 times, 3 times, 3 times, 3 times. Maintain those 3 sessions. Anything extra becomes a bonus. Anything extra becomes something that doesn't just gain you a bit more benefits, but also it does you justice for your mindset as well. Because if you set yourself up to go, I'm doing 5 sessions a week at the start of Ramadan, then second week 5 sessions, then you end up doing 4 sessions, and then the week 3 you start to do 3 sessions, and then week 4 you don't do a session at all. You start to think, you know, the whole month of Ramadan was just a write-off. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Rather than going, you know, if you just go, I'm going to maintain a level of maintain a specific, like, you know, just a minimum amount. The minimum, you go, the bare minimum is I want to do 3 sessions a week.
Yeah.
And if you know that 3 sessions a week are easy for you to get, and you combine, so 3 sessions a week, you don't need to train at the intensity that you used to train at. But if you want to 3 sessions a week, you go, rather than doing half an hour, you can go 40 minutes and you combine 2 muscle groups. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can combine 2, if you want to do isolation exercise, you combine 2 muscle groups over 3 days a week. You become Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then you give yourself Friday a break. And then, you know what? Okay, Saturday again, Sunday break. Then Monday you get into it. So when you do have a break, you don't feel so bad.
Yes.
But to answer your question, to maintain a healthy sort of lifestyle, 1, it comes back to the individual, and 2, if you do 1 session, it's better than none. If you do 2 sessions, it's better than 1. If you do 3 sessions, better than 2.
Yeah.
But you want to create a habit that's going to be able to sustain. You're going to be able to sustain without putting yourself, without, you know, doing detriment to your mindset.
Yeah, because I mean, if you do put in too much, I mean, if you do start off with excitement and you start doing a lot, and you would eventually end up hating it or like stop
That's
doing it
right.
to begin with.
You
Yeah,
just stop it, and then it becomes a fail. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It becomes not just a fail; it just becomes like, okay, I've got to start all over again.
yeah,
You don't want to start all over again. You just want to go, you know what? I'm doing something, but I've given myself a break. I want to do something because I've been focusing a little bit more on the Quran, or I've been focusing a little bit more on worship, or I've been focusing a little bit more on family. I've been focusing a little bit more on, charity work. These little things you go, you know what? I may not have trained as much, but I've gained so much more here. And now Ramadan is finished, your level of training is here, where you can take it to there, but you have to look at all the benefits that you've attained as well during that month of Ramadan that you want to carry on.
yeah. SubhanAllah, and of course, like if you do start working out with the intention that to maintain, you know what I mean, your ibadah or and such, and if it depending on everyone's intention, of course, um, that you can actually be rewarded for it because if I'm not mistaken from the hadith that it says that a stronger believer is better and
Is
more
more beloved.
beloved
Yeah,
than the weak believer. So
subhanAllah, yeah.
sorry, what do you suggest in terms of a stress reliever? Like, do you believe that exercise and activities can also help you in overcoming stress, especially during these times?
100%. 100%. That's why you see a lot of families out outside walking. When you go out for a walk, subhanAllah, you come back a different person. But the key to stress relief, they say one of the key factors to stress relief is meditation. And meditation is almost, we meditate 5 times a day whilst in our salah. Do you know what I mean? It's a form of
Yeah,
meditation
subhanallah.
in our salah. If we just sit there and but a lot of, and you probably notice this now in Sydney, like, everything is so fast paced, even our deen is so fast paced, people are like, oh, we're going to pray quick. Let's pray now. Like, let's pray, let's get it.
Yeah,
Let's pray now. And because we've got to go here, we've got to go there, we've got to go here. But if we just took a step back and just, prayed,
embrace it.
took our time, focused on the salah, and appreciated the opportunity that's been given to us, that we can pray.
Yeah,
You realize that that's a form of meditation, and you see your stress levels just, each person is different, but come on, you see, exercise is a massive form of stress relief. Eating good foods is another form of stress relief. Not overindulging in bad foods.
yeah,
Overindulging in bad foods, it makes you feel good at the time. Like, then and there, you feel good. Okay, this may taste good, but 30, 45 minutes later, an hour, that stress is back and far worse, because now you're thinking, I just ate bad.
mm,
I just ate bad. I just ate bad. Plus the stress of life. SubhanAllah, you start to think to yourself, okay, you know what? So that's why it's really important to have good nutritional habits.
yeah.
But exercise, yes, is definitely a key form of stress relief.
SubhanAllah, it's interesting that you say that about meditation because you have like workout gurus like like the Rock, like Mark Wahlberg. These guys are obsessed with working out, and one of the things that I remember Mark Wahlberg when he posted on his Instagram page, he had like a timetable of the times of the day and what he does. So, and he starts as early as before 4 a.m. Sometimes it's like 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was doing it for a small period of time, but it might still even be on his page. And it goes on where he starts off with meditation. And subhanAllah, the time just coincidentally happens to be around the same time as Fajr, subhanAllah.
SubhanAllah. Like, these are the things that we got to look at, that, and this is where it becomes influential. Like, these guys become influential, but if we just took a step back and we look at what's been given to us, the opportunity of being a Muslim, the opportunity to have the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam as our as the person that we look up to, the person that we love most, and to fulfill his steps, you sit there and you think to yourself, how did he live his life? Like, what did they do? Or what are they saying to us? You know, what's the legacy they left? What's the advice that they've left for us? SubhanAllah, a lot of the time it answers all these questions for us. We, like, you know, they say intermittent fasting, you know, or scientists now have been saying intermittent fasting, but it's been prescribed that Monday and Friday, to fast Monday and Friday on a regular basis is very good for you. But Ramadan is a cleanser. They've come out, intermittent fasting is very good for you. You know, the answer for that for us is Ramadan. They tell you to meditate, salah. You know what I mean? Salah is our form of meditation.
Yes.
To eat natural foods, to eat foods that come out of the ground. The 12 foods that that were prescribed to us, prophetic foods, you know, that were prescribed to us, are all that come from the ground. You know, like it's all organic, and it's all, like, you know, olives, or it could be what are other foods? Honey and eggs, and, you know what I mean, meat and wheat, and all these sort of foods, that milk, you know, that come out of the ground, and or that come at it from their natural form. That's what we're supposed to be eating. You know what I mean? They tell you vegetarians, oh, you should be vegetarian. The Rasul tells us not to eat as much meat as we do eat now. You know what I mean? Like, how much meat did he eat? You know? So it's all these little things that, subhanAllah, they do, that they say, but it's because of the time that we live in, and that's what we see in our face. But if we just take a step back and just look at what the Prophet and the Sahaba and how they lived their life, we would be stress-free if we tried to live their life.
Exactly.
SubhanAllah.
It's like, it's always been there. It's just waiting.
It's always been there. The answer's always been there.
Yeah. Yes, SubhanAllah.
SubhanAllah. But alhamdulillah, like, it's we're in a good position, you know. I always look at, okay, people go to me, oh, but we're in such a bad time, Omar. But let's look at the positives out of all this.
Yeah.
Now, what do you look at? Like, what's the negative out of all this? Oh, the negative is that the bars are closed, the clubs are closed, and the all these are closed. Like, that's not a negative. That is a positive. Like, look at what's happening around the world. Look at what's happening. This is there's a positive that's coming out of all this. You got to think of our teenage youth, the youth. You got to think of the kids that are up and coming, that are growing up. All these places are closed, so it limits their opportunity to go to these places.
Yeah.
You look at the RSL clubs; they're closed, and it limits people who have been going. It limits them from going. You know, it gives them the opportunity to repent. You know, all these people that don't get to spend time with their family, now they're spending time with their family. People that have never gone for a walk before have probably gone for a walk before. You know, we've got to look at the positives out of all this, in this situation that we're in.
Yeah, subhanAllah. You know, in a way, it kind of comes down to discipline. You know, like disciplining yourself from not doing haram. You know, and so a lot of people always assume that, you know, Islam is always you know, putting barriers for you, like don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. The haram is way over clouding.
Because it's so much easier to access as well these days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a click of a finger on your phone, you know?
Yeah.
You walk outside, it's just raising your head up in the air. You know what I mean? Going to the ocean or going to the shopping center, it's in front of you. These are our tests, you know, subhanAllah. But
so it's an opportunity, if anything, like you said,
100%.
To use this. In terms of, you know, like diets, you know, how it's overused, the word, and a lot of companies seem to be using this term diet and as more of like a commercial and marketing platform.
It's captivating as well.
Yeah.
But if you subhanAllah, take the T away from diet, what is it? What are you setting yourself up to do?
Yeah, subhanAllah. That's an interesting
way of
looking at it. Yeah, you're setting yourself up to die.
You set yourself up to die. Like, we're all die at the time that we're meant to die. But it's the state that you die in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The diet is so short term. We're so programmed to have short term. Our brains, society has told us we want goals, we want to hit targets, we want this, we want that now, 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 now. And you see the younger generation,
Yeah.
they don't understand other than the generations that are coming through now. You see them; they want everything yesterday. You know what I mean? They can't comprehend the concept of hard work. It takes time. Takes time. No, they think, okay, nah, now I need it now. I want it now. I need it now. Even with results, when it comes to training, when someone says to me, Omar, I want to lose weight. No problem. Do you want to lose weight? How much weight do you want to lose? Okay. How long do you think? How long have you given yourself to lose that weight? And a lot of the time, someone say to me 3 to 6 months, and I'll say, okay, give yourself a year. And they'll be like, a year? I'll go, now think back 1 year. How quick did last year go?
Yes,
SubhanAllah, you just said to me earlier on, 3 months, you've been here 3 years, and it feels like it's been last month. You know what I mean?
correct.
But what you do, if you work out for a whole year, or if you create that habit and you set yourself up for that year, you're creating a lifestyle. You know what I mean? You start to create a lifestyle. You start to create a lifestyle. And that's with all my clients. With all my clients, I tell them, when someone comes up to me and wants to start training with me, yes, I'm happy to train you, but you have to understand that you're training for a year, because short term to me is a year, not 3 months. You will get results in 3 months. Don't get me wrong. You will probably hit your goals and your targets, but you're going to train for a year. Because there's nothing worse than when someone loses 20 kilos and then comes back to me 30, 40 kilos heavier. You know what I mean?
Yes, wow.
SubhanAllah. So it's just.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off.
No, that's all right.
So it kind of seems like it comes down to like discipline and building habits, and for you to be consistent, you have to be disciplined. For you to keep away from eating bad foods, you also must maintain a discipline. And it seems just like when the year kind of begins and everybody's joining up to gym membership just so they can have like this ideal workout body that they want to have by the end of the year. But it's that particular idea that marketing companies that focus on, which is to aspire people to reach that goal, but it's only short term because they don't look at the entire process. And
that's right.
And that's why it seems that also people that have the habit of working out on a daily basis and are always active and always watching out what they eat, they don't seem to be receptive to these ideas, because by the end of the year it's only a couple of people that are still going to be remaining in the gym, and these same people have been doing the same thing for like the last 2-3 years.
That's right.
So what is your, like, just in conclusion, like, what do you recommend is, for someone that is starting, for someone that, wants to, now that they have a lot of time in their hands, how can they start? Like, where should they start?
They should look at their life and find out what is going to be sustainable for them. They should have a goal in place. Everyone should put a goal in place, because a goal gives you light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
But that goal should not be everything. And how they start is by creating a plan that's going to work for their lifestyle and their surroundings. It doesn't necessarily mean that they have to train every day or they have to eat a specific way. Start slow. Create that strong foundation to have a long-lasting effect. If you have that strong foundation, the stronger your foundation, the harder it is for that foundation to crack. The softer and the more weaker your foundation is, the easier the cracks are going to come in, and you're going to start to veer off how you're meant to be going, in what direction you're meant to be going. I always say, start slow, start steady, but make sure that you're starting with at a point where you're building a strong foundation. We don't want a foundation that's going to be, from zero. You never go from zero to hero overnight, because if you went from zero to hero overnight, there'd be a lot of heroes walking around. But right now, obesity sits at about 70% in Australia. So if everyone was if it was that easy, obesity would not be sitting at 70% here in Australia. Start slow, start steady, controlled, understand why you're doing it. Because when you understand the why, you start to create that attachment and understand the benefits that that why is going to give you, not just short term, but long term. And think about the ripple effect it may have for the surroundings. That's when you get the emotional attachment to it. But from a physical component, start slow. If you've never exercised before in your life, start one session every couple of days. If it's a walk, if it's you go to the park and kick a ball around, doing something is better than not doing anything at all.
Brother Omar, sorry, I've taken so much.
That's all right.
I've taken so much of your time already, man. I really appreciate your time.
Alhamdulillah.
For
I enjoy.
also,
I enjoy. If you can't tell, I am quite passionate, and I enjoy, talking about something that I love. And if it's something small that can plant a seed somewhere and change somebody's life, then alhamdulillah.
exactly.
If it's not, it's knowledge out there for people to attain.
Inshallah, and that
Inshallah.
is the goal. No, I really appreciate your time. It's been a pleasure for accepting to do this. It's not easy that you come by people that would be happy to do a podcast or a face to face an online chat with someone random that they've never met before. So
Allah.
I appreciate that.
No,
In
all
different
good.
circumstances, it would be more present, and we would be sitting just across each other.
Yeah,
And
100%. Yeah.
and I hope we can do that. You know what I mean, in the future,
Yeah,
inshallah.
inshallah. You got in the future. I'd be more than happy to sit down. Wallah, it'd be awesome.
Inshallah. Yeah. So I think this episode will most likely be out during Ramadan, maybe the first week of Ramadan.
Inshallah.
So yeah. With that being said, once again, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
And inshallah,
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to meet you.
likewise, wallahi. Thank you so much, Omar. And
You're welcome. Assalamu alaikum.
alaikum assalam.